Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to explain what a recursive function is in Java using a factorial of a number as an example. A recursive function is a function that calls itself in order to solve a small part of a same problem. If you are given in math, you're asked to find the factorial of 5, then it means to 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, which will give us 120. And by definition of a factorial, factorial of 0 is equal to 1, and factorial of 1 is equal to 1. Let's go through a code in which we are going to understand how a recursive function works. Okay, before I forget, let me tell you that a factorial function, a recursive function has two cases. It has a base case and a recursive case. A base case is a condition under which the function stops calling itself. The function stops calling itself. As I said, that we have a base case and a recursive case. A recursive case is the condition under which the function calls itself. Since I've said that a recursive function is a function which calls itself, so it means it has a base case and a recursive case. The base case is a condition where the function stops calling itself, and the recursive case is a condition where a function calls itself. So if you are going to look at this code, we have import java.scanner class recursive. That's the name of our class, and you have a public static int factorial. When you have this function of return type integer, int, so we're going to shift our focus in here. So inside this function, we have a parameter int n, and we have if n is equal to 0, we should return 1. So I'm saying this is a base case. Why am I saying this is a base case? When the function reaches, when the value of n is equal to 0, the function will stop calling itself. That's why I'm calling this a base case. Else, if we still have the value of n which is not equal to 0, that means n is 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, etc., then you should multiply n by factorial of n minus 1. So this one is a recursive case. In this case, the function will keep on calling itself. That's why I'm calling this a recursive case. Let's take a look into main method. In the main method, we have public static void main string args, scanner input is new scanner system.in, system.out. We're asking our user to enter the value in which we want to calculate the factorial. Int n is equal to input.next int result factorial. We are passing this variable into this as a argument. System.out print factorial of num. So you give us the result here. Okay, let's see the output of this code. If you run this code, Java recursive let's assume I entered 5. So the factorial of num is 5. If you see this in this code, it gives us the value of num as 5. What is happening? Let's see. If we are passing the value of n is equal to 5, that means this function takes 5, and here n is equal to 5. When n is equal to 5, that means it will skip this if statement and goes to the else statement. So that means it's n5, which is equal to 5, times factorial of 5 minus 1. Let's take a look at what is happening. So now we have the factorial of 5 as our n, which is equal to 5 times factorial of 4. Then after this function will also call another one, which calls a factorial of 4 times, which is equal to 4 times factorial of 3. 3 is equal to n minus 1, so n is 4. 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. Now it goes like this: 3 times is equal to 3 times factorial of 2, and the factorial of 2 is equal to 2 times factorial of 1. until it reaches 0. So when it reaches 0, it returns 1. Since I've said that the factorial of 0 is equal to 1 from the definition of factorial. So how are we getting 120? To get 120, it means we have a factorial of n is equal to 1 times 1. I mean factorial of 1. Which in this case is factorial of 1 here times factorial of 0, which is 1. So it's 1 times 1. 1 times 1 gives us 1. And factorial of 2, it's n times factorial of n minus 1. In this case, n is 2 times n minus 1. 2 minus 1 is what? Is 1. So 2 times 2 is what? 2. 2 times 1, I mean, is 2. Then 3 times 2 goes like that. 5 times 24. So now it gives us 120. So if you can see the result here, when you run our program, oh sorry, so when you take a look at the result, the factorial of num is 120. So now we have understood how 120 is coming. So let's just summarize this function. We are saying if n is equal to 0, returns 1. It should return 1. Why am I saying return 1? Since the factorial of 0 is equal to 1. So this was the best case, because when the function reaches us, when the program reaches this case, it can proceed. In this case, the function will stop calling itself in the best case. While in the recursive case, the function keeps on calling itself. That's why we are saying return n times factorial of n minus 1. So thank you guys for being with me in this video. See you next time.